Welcome on the Cosmic Atom. Pay careful attention, since what I'm going to say will be incomprehensible to the sleepy, distracted, or deluded. But you aren't any of them. You've been marked, branded by fire, and what runs through your veins is not fear. Fury is remembered, holy rage, divine electricity, and ancient vengeance. You did not stumble across this message. This letter stumbled across you. Heaven rerouted the algorithm specifically to remind you. You are not arbitrary. You are retaliatory. And the devil, yes, the devil, he regrets it. Every trap he planned, every voice he sent, every phony buddy, every delay, every time he believed he had you surrounded and bewildered. He regrets it since he did not expect you to live. But you didn't just survive. You began to recall that your quiet was a tactic, that your tears contained divine oil, that your loneliness was a consecration chosen. You were not being penalized. You were being protected, not out of weakness, but out of strength, too valuable to squander on the wrong audience. He regrets ever touching you because the one he attempted to bury has risen, not with bitterness, but with the blueprint. Your conflict was never about what was stolen from you. It was about what was hidden inside you. The assaults were not random. They were surgically designed because the adversary could detect what even you forgot. You are heaven's reaction to hell's hubris. Yes, your name was murmured in hellish halls, and you felt the weight of it rather than the words. The way rooms became colder as you stepped in, and how people betrayed you without blinking. The way your peace sparked conflict, and still you remained nice. You remained deep. You remained awake. That's why this message is for you. Because hell sorrow serves as a message from heaven that no weapon built against you succeeded. You were selected, not fortunate. You are not here to escape the darkness. You're here to reveal it. You're the prophesy that your lineage has been waiting for. You are the echo of prayers that your forefathers were unable to complete. You are the fire that fear cannot contain. Every challenge served as a learning opportunity. You see, the devil didn't bother you because you were weak. He toyed with you because you'd already been marked. He saw what others disregarded. There was a roar within your quiet, a shout that refuses to be silenced. Do you know what's wild? He attempted to shut you down before you knew what you were carrying. But he failed, because now you are aware. And when the chosen one becomes conscious, the whole spirit world changes. So, if your heart is racing, your spine is tingling, and your soul feels like it has been hit by lightning, don't ignore it. That is not drama. That is your fate, activating. Hell is trembling as a result. Comment 777. If your soul experiences this, it means you're no longer explaining your power. You are embracing it. So let's get real. The chosen one. If you've made it this far, you've experienced it. The strain and bewilderment. The times when life seemed like a setup rather than a tale. It's as if you were born into a screenplay already tainted by treachery and weighed down with obligations that were not your own. And maybe you've wondered why my path is so violent while others can glide. Why is my item so readily stolen? Why do I draw conflict like honey attracts flies? The solution is straightforward. Even if you remain quiet, you pose a danger. Even if you are bleeding, even if you don't know what you're carrying. Let's not sugarcoat this. The assaults were never based on your errors. They were discussing your mission. You were targeted in the womb. You were not comprehended in the classroom. You felt lonely in the friendship. You were betrayed under the pact. And yet you stood there with a frightened heart and an unshakable spirit. That's not a coincidence. That is proof. You are evidence that hell cannot cancel what heaven demands. And the devil, he saw your potential before you had the words to express it. Previously, you had a language for your dreams. Before, you were confident in your voice. He saw it. That is why he attempted to distract you. He sent partners who were incapable of loving you, friends who envy you, opportunities that were really traps, faux peace, false mirrors, and heavy masks. He wanted you to doubt your essence, to look in the mirror and not see the miracle. Staring back, to think you were cursed while really being sanctified. See, the betrayal you experienced was not personal. It was prophetic. The rejection, protection, the delayed preparation, and the stillness. A holy setup, but that didn't seem sacrosanct, did it? It felt like abandonment. It felt like punishment. It felt like heartbreak. Your soul wept so deeply that no one else could hear it, but you can now. You were never forgotten. You were being developed in the darkness via fire-fueled fights. Your light would never flicker in the wind. You were not deployed to battle. You are the conflict. You are what the opponent fears. You represent a disruption in generational cycles. You are the rupture in demonic contracts. This is why your life has seemed like a war. Because it is. And you did not start the conflict, but you were born to complete it. Do not confuse your scars for shame. These are maps. Every scar represents a spiritual fingerprint, a reminder that you traveled through valleys that others avoided. Because being picked does not imply comfort. It denotes strife. It signifies that the crown you wear comes at a cost. You were sent ahead of your lineage to destroy what they could not wait to mend, what they overlooked to transport what was refused. And the devil regrets it now because you did not collapse. You clarified. You saw the pattern, manipulation, and sabotage. And you said, no more chosen one. Look at your life. The cycles that destroyed others have ended with you. The same agony that bred monsters in your family produced a message in you. This is not about being flawless. It is about being intentional. Yes, you have stumbled. You have doubted. You have fallen. However, each fall was a forging. You aren't weak. You're burdened by fate and the adversary. He sensed it. That is why he has attempted to delay, dissuade, and discredit you. He thought you'd self-destruct before the truth came out. However, the truth is now coming out, and it's destroying every lie you had about yourself. You were never too much. You were never unworthy. You were never forgotten. You were concealed at the correct moment. And that's all. This is your spiritual reality. Your agony was not wasted. Your storms were not pointless. Your loneliness wasn't empty. These were signs. They were confirmation that the calling on your life is genuine, that your presence is disruptive, and that your words have weight. You do not need to be loud to be harmful. Your immobility transmits shockwaves. Your silence convicted your eyes. Look at what most people neglect. You were born sensitive because you have the ability to perceive. You were born different because you were meant to deliver. And every time life pulled you down, heaven said no. God was watching, not to punish, but to protect you from the wrong platforms, people, and time. Because when the true power inside you awakens, it cannot be restrained. Choose one. Stop questioning why you were assaulted. Begin to grasp what you suffered, because the minute you own your past, the adversary loses control of your future. And now the transition starts. The mirror is clarifying. The air is shifting. Your next breath is your first in complete consciousness. And guess what? Hell is terrified because the one they attempted to destroy is going to construct the indestructible but chosen one. Let's go deeper now, because it's more than simply what happened to you. It is about what has been buried inside you. Power is not borrowed, not taught, not inherited from titles or systems, but anciently rooted and uniquely yours. You've spent so long believing you required a platform, a mentor, a degree, or an audience. You believed you had to earn your power, but you were born with it. You are the temple. You're the fire. You're the scroll and the sword. Your ego was not the reason they couldn't manage you. It represented your essence. You do not have regular energy. Before you say anything, your presence changes the dynamics of the room. As you go in, the atmosphere trembles. Not because you are loud, but because you have a heavenly frequency. But nobody told you that. So you believed your sensitivity was a flaw. You felt your desire for seclusion indicated that you were broken. You believe your intense emotions made you too much. In truth, these were signs that you had selected assignment 1. You feel intensely because you were meant to heal deeply. You perceive falsehoods because you were created to communicate the truth. You are wired for authenticity, thus you cannot sit in phony places. That aching in your soul, that restlessness, that tightness in your chest, when you settle for less, that is your secret strength, refusing to remain inactive. And suddenly it is increasing. You can feel in your bones, right? The subtle rush, the unfathomable want for more. That notion that if you don't embrace your true self immediately, you could disintegrate from the inside out. Because this is the truth. Your spirit is choking under the weight of acting tiny. You are not designed to blend in. You are not designed to be digestible. You are not sent to Earth to be among humans. Please, you are a spiritual earthquake attempting to be pleasant. And the mask you wore is already breaking. They instructed you to calm down. But what they truly meant was, don't remind us of what we've suppressed. Because your honesty requires conflict. Your entire presence calls into question their compromise. You living your truth reveals their denial. And they despise that. So they sought to confine you with flattery, distract you with responsibility, and humiliate you with silence. But your soul knows there's more. There's always been more. You were born with keys that no one handed you. And those keys unlocked realms that terrified the timid. So you shrank. You made yourself smaller. You softened your voice. You told yourself, perhaps later, perhaps next season, maybe when I am ready. But the reality is, you have always been prepared. What you needed was not preparedness. It was permission. And now heaven is shouting it out. Go. Now. Activate. Stop waiting for the world to recognize what God has already affirmed. Stop holding back your oil because others don't know how to transport it. Stop apologizing for the light that destroys their devils. You're not here to impress. You are here to make an impact. You're not here to be understood. You're here to be unmistakable. Yes, it will cost you. Power always does. You will lose folks. You won't find many of them. You will stroll alone, but you will walk with authority. You will mourn your former self, the version of you that just desired calm. But now you want power with peace. You seek destiny, more than merely comfort. You desire a legacy, not just clapping. And to get there, you must confront this fact. You are not waiting for a breakthrough. You represent the breakthrough. You're the prophesy, walking on both feet. You are an answered prayer masquerading as a human. You are the lion who learned how to hide among the lambs. But now it is time to yell. The opponent had never feared your history. He dreaded your permission slip to the future. He worried you would remember your name. He dreaded the precise moment when the curtain lifted, where your spirit can speak no more, where your spirit is today. So, if you sense a burning sensation behind your eyes, if your chest feels heavy with truth, and if your hands sweat while you listen, that's proof. This is not adrenaline. This is awakening. This is your power. Wake up and refuse to be nice. You are both holy and disruptive. You are an echo of the unsaid. You are the force that shakes the foundation. And now it's time to quit trying to convey your depth to others with shallow minds. Your authority has been patient enough. It's no longer looking for comfort. It is claiming command. Comment. If your soul recognizes that the next breath you breathe will be your last, then this moment is genuine. It is resurrection. The transition is taking place right now. The chosen one. It's no longer subtle. It's loud, aggressive, and cosmic. Because when a sleeping lion awakens, the jungle does not whisper. It trembles. You've been trying to figure out why your chest hurts for years now. The notion that you are intended for more, even when you weren't sure what else looked like. The uneasy feeling of not fitting in. Not at the table, not on the job, not among the crowd, because your spirit was never designed for ordinary. You were always prepared for a crash. This is the awakening shift. The instant the curtain is lifted, not only over your eyes, but also over your identity. You're not insane. You're not broken. You're activated. And when the selected awaken, reality bends. Time slows. Patterns break. The matrix becomes unpleasant when your frequency no longer follows its regulations. 6 months ago, you were not the person you are now. Who version of you who endured rudeness and begged for scraps? That grin to maintain the peace when your soul was hungry. That version is now disintegrating, and you can feel it in your bones, in your stillness, and in how your previous existence no longer fits. It's like wearing someone else's skin. The world wants you to be dependable, quiet, and safe. It aims to capture your power via spreadsheets and job titles. However, your power cannot be measured. It erupted. That's why they labeled you rebellious. You're tall, passionate, and sensitive, and you do things because your sheer presence threatens their numbness. They want formulae. You're a wildfire. They want certainty. You're the stormlight. They demand control. You embody kingdom chaos. And now the institutions that attempted to subdue you are crumbling under the weight of your being the chosen one. Do you know what occurs when the heavenly force refuses to behave? Chains fracture, contract, and dissipate. Bloodlines shift. You stop asking for space and instead become the space and the people who previously disregarded you. They'll be alarmed not because you've changed, but because you've finally unmasked. You're no longer satisfied with surviving. You came here to conquer, not by force, but by frequency, not by yelling, but through resonance. Your enlightenment makes the false uncomfortable. Your clarity mirrors their perplexity. Your brightness, it burns the parasites. And that's okay. Let them become blind. Because you are not here to be palatable. You're here to be a prophet. Prophecy is never safe. It is disruptive. It rips through illusion. It talks when quiet is preferable. It goes where fear would not. And now you are the incarnate prophesy, the breath of every quiet warrior, the scream of ancestors who died with a mission imprisoned in their hearts. You are what the system could not destroy. You are the wound that refuses to shut. The transformation begins within. Your ideas are rebellious. Your emotions become more intense. Your body begins to reject everything that does not respect your purpose. That connection, toxic, gone. That atmosphere, stale, collapsing. That habit, dead weight. Drop the previous chronology. It is disintegrating. You're not simply changing lanes. You're moving dimensions. What used to gratify has now become sickens. What once terrified you now calls you. You are not fleeing from fear. You're walking into a fire. You're nuclear now, not because you are unstable, but because you're now unstoppable. And certainly, uncertainty will arise. The adversary will murmur. Who do you believe you are? Why you? What if you are wrong? But your spirit will scream back. I'm the one you cannot kill. Pain schooled me. Heaven spoke to me in the darkness. This is no longer about who you have become. It is now time to move. I like it. Stop asking for signs. You are the sign. Don't wait for miracles. You are a miracle. Stop waiting for validation. Your very existence is proof. This enlightenment isn't a phase. It is a command. And adherence to it will cost you the appearance of ease while giving you the reality of dominance. You are not intended to ride waves. You are supposed to be the storm. So don't withdraw when things become tough. Don't shrink when they don't question when it becomes silent. That stillness is not absence. It's an alignment. The cosmos is holding its breath while your spirit rewrites the room. Allow your aura to be your armor. Allow your voice to vibrate. Let your presence be evidence. The waking process is messy. You will weep. You will have questions. You're going to rage. You will rejoice. But you won't break, because selected ones do not shatter. They revive. Comment if you see the pressure moving, because you're not in the center of the storm. You are the center, the resurrection. Now your spirit is stirring. The chosen one. It's time to quit admiring your power from afar and begin using it. Because waking isn't enough. Revelation must become a movement. You weren't called only to know you've been picked. You're supposed to move like that. So here's the question that is currently ringing across the spiritual universe. What are you going to do with what you're carrying? The time for waiting is past. Not because everything is flawless, but because perfection was never necessary. Obedience was. You don't need any more signs. You don't need additional confirmation. You need alignment. Real power flows from alignment, not ambition. Through surrender, not struggle. You do not have to climb ladders constructed by broken systems. You just have to walk in a frequency that begins with letting go of what no longer serves a purpose. Because you cannot hold heavenly fire in your hands while maintaining a fake tranquility. Let go. The identities that kept you consumable, the connections that commanded your quiet, the places that drove you to shrink, and the roles that upheld your mask but killed your objective. Release them with respect rather than anger. Because your soul is not a repository for other people's fears. It's a platform for revelation. You were never supposed to be the little selected one. You were created to balance atmospheres. However, in order to activate that power, you must quit appearing to be bewildered. You are not confused. You are cautious. In the spirit world, caution is often disobedience disguised as rationality. You already know what you need to do. You can already feel the attraction. You can already feel where the fire is. Now go toward it. Take a step. Say the word. Write the book. Leave your job. Confront the untruth. Pray with fire. Cut the cord. Break the curse. It doesn't matter how big your relocation is. It's about the faith that drives it. Faith is the currency of activation. And right now, heaven is waiting for your deal. Don't allow fear of failure deprive you of your inheritance. You aren't here to be faultless. You are here to be courageous. The chosen one. Here is the truth. Nobody told you. You have already been approved. There is no board meeting in paradise to discuss your value. There is no spiritual committee currently voting on your anointing. The scroll has been sealed. The blueprint was created ahead of time, and your name is already on it. So stop begging for what you already have and start utilizing what you've been trusted with. Will it feel lonely? Yes. Will people misunderstand? Often. Will your former self resist? Absolutely. But you always chose obedience above comfort. Each time you talk, when quiet is safer. Every time you act while still terrified, the skies respond with approval. This one's ready. The activation isn't loud. It is not always glamorous. Sometimes it's a silent choice to stop betraying yourself. To move away after previously tolerating saying no. When guilt shouts yes. To pick one's fate. Delay whispers falsehoods. And when you do, power flows in. Clarity sharpens resources, and the veil between reality and calling starts to shrink. You'll begin to discover divine patterns, repeats, synchronicity, dreams that whisper instructions, and encounters that are too planned to be random. That is how you will know you are no longer pursuing alignment. You have become the chosen one. This is the tipping moment. The moment when knowledge transforms to fire and pondering changes to release. Where waiting stops and fighting starts. Because certainly you will go to war, but not as before. No more swinging blindly. No more wasting energy on wars you weren't meant to fight. From now on, you will fight with strategy, insight, vision, and a surgical stillness that cuts deeper than any scream. You'll enter rooms, and devils will disperse. Not because you said a word, but because you now hold the seal. And that seal cannot be forged. It cannot be purchased. It's forged in the woods, weeping in warfare. It is now active. So here's your heavenly command to move. Not recklessly, but relentlessly. Move in reverence. Move with clarity. Move confidently, knowing you don't need the world's map. You hold heaven's compass. Stop waiting for permission. Begin walking with possession, because someone has selected one. It is not just your time. It is your turn. Comment if you're eager to discover what's already within, because from this point on, you're no longer attempting to awaken. You are the chosen one for the awakening. Take it in. You didn't just survive the war. You became the weapon, and the time for postponement is past. This is your heavenly charge, not just a whisper, not a proposal. A holy commissioning walk resembling prophesy. Speak like thunder. Move like the gates of hell. Recognize your name, because they do everything the adversary has sent to confound you. We only clarified your task. Everything that attempted to break you simply highlighted your spiritual strength. The devil regrets ever hurting you because, rather of retaliating with fury, you revived with remembering. You aren't merely picked. You're dangerously aware of it right now. So from now on, don't merely convey the message. Become the message. Allow your life to interrupt. Curse. Let your speech awaken the sleeping soul. Allow your obedience to rewrite your lineage. And if this word strikes a chord with you, you speak out. Please share it in the comments. Say your breakthrough loudly. Tell us what you've endured, what awoke you, or what still remains incomplete, because someone browsing may find your remark and know they are not alone. If you like this song, please subscribe to the Cosmic Atom channel, so the next communication arrives when you need it the most. This is more than just a channel. It is a gateway, a campfire for warriors, a gathering of people identified before birth. So I'll leave you with a question. What if the agony you want to avoid was the womb of your awakening? Imagine if everything you believed disqualified you. Was that heaven's method of shaping your edge? Rethink it, reframe it, reclaim it, because the narrative hasn't ended. Your splendor has not peaked, and the world has not seen your true form. Comment, I'm the one. If you knew this was your word, comment 777. If something eternal has just altered inside you, remember that your presence is both proof and time. It is right now. Dear viewers, your support through Super Chat and membership is the only source of income that keeps this channel running. If you want me to continue uploading valuable content without delays and to stay motivated in providing you with the best wisdom, I need your help. Every contribution, big or small, makes a huge difference. Feel free to donate and support Pure Wisdom so we can keep growing together. Your generosity keeps this journey alive.
If you're enjoying the content on Pure Wisdom and find value in the messages we share, I encourage you to subscribe. Based on the latest analytics, 93.9% of viewers are watching without subscribing. By subscribing, you not only stay updated with new content, but also support the channel's growth, allowing us to continue spreading wisdom for the chosen ones. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an important message. Let's build this community together.